Oh, bloody technology, mate.
All right, never
How's
mind.
it going?
Yeah, good mate. How are you?
Oh, early. Ready to throw the laptop out the window. You know how it
Yeah, fair enough, mate.
is.
Cool. All right, well, I'm recording, so yeah, I'm good to jump in if you are, man.
Yeah, man. Just crack on.
Yeah, beautiful. All right. So Stu from Roots of the Old Oak, welcome to Nightbreed. How you doing, man?
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me. Yeah, not too bad. It's nice and early here in the UK. So probably
Yeah.
not as sunny as where you are, but never mind.
It's raining at the moment, unusually, but anyway.
Oh, typical, man. Well,
Yeah,
thanks.
yeah. Hey, thanks for coming on, mate. So 2021, how did Roots of the Old Oak start? Because you're all in Slaughter of Souls together, right?
That's right. Yeah, we all started playing together. Myself, Pete, and Mike, the bass player and the guitarist. We were in a black metal band called Reign of Erebus
Mm.
back in the sort of uh, late 90s. And then we left that and we had Slaughter of Souls, which was kind of like a sort of entombedy death rock
Yeah.
sort of band. Did a few gigs, got, everything was going quite well, but then, we just, things happened, so we sort of fell apart. Fast forward a few years, we've been out of the game for like 15, 20 odd years. And it wasn't until the end of 2001 where all the COVID stuff and that, and everyone was having a sort of like crap time and that I reached out to Pete, the guitarist, and said, "Look, you fancy making some music again?" He
Mm.
had pretty much hung up his guitar. I didn't have a drum kit. I sold my drum kit years ago. So we sort of banged a few tunes out. He come up with a few riffs, and we kind of went away to a studio over in Wales, run by a guy called Chris Fielding, who plays bass for a band called Conan.
Hmm.
And it was kind of like it was like a bit of a lad's holiday. It was like a residential studio, so it was kind of like just to cheer ourselves up a little bit. And out in the wilds of Wales,
Mm.
we knocked out like the demo, and we come away thinking, well, it's actually pretty good. You know what I mean? That's actually, it sounds pretty good. And we were quite surprised, having not played, picked up the guitar, picked up the drums for like many years. So I said to Pete, look, how do you, if I put it on Bandcamp on that, the demo,
Mm.
just to get a bit of money back than what we paid. I mean, we didn't expect anything from it, to be honest with you. It started selling, started, gaining a bit of traction. So for a laugh, I said to Pete, look, I'm going to send it to like a few labels that we like and
Yeah.
see what happens. So I literally got a list, went, that one, out of the ones that we liked. Very, very small list.
Mm.
And Hammerheart come back within like, a week and offered us a free album deal.
Yeah, nice work. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, it was a bit random.
Hey, that's good, man. It's good, So yeah, how was it working with Hammerheart? So obviously you went to the studio to do the Blot EP. What was different about the approach to this first album?
Well, it was kind of weird. I mean, the demo was very we were kind of like we didn't know what our sound would be. We kind of winged it, in all honesty. We had a few ideas for the riffs and structures and stuff and lyrics. It's the first time I'd ever done vocals ever, because I do vocals on one of the tracks on it. I literally decided to do the vocals literally like 30 seconds before we were going to record them. But it came out pretty good. I was quite happy with that. But the approach with the album, once everything settled down and we signed with Hammerheart, who are absolutely brilliant. They're bang on, excellent label. I can't fault them in any way. Brilliant label. Love them. They've been really supportive, and they don't really mind what we do. There's people messaging me. And it was kind of the approach for the album. It was kind of like build on what we had, but we wanted it a little bit nastier, a little bit with a little bit more grunt. It was the demo is very, very good, and we're very proud of it, and it's good, and it has got our signature sound in there, but it wasn't enough, wasn't nasty enough. We wanted a bit of sort of like old school nastiness in there. And I've said it before, we're not trying to reinvent the wheel. You know what I mean? We're not saying that we're the best musicians on the planet. We're not saying that we're going to reinvent the doom genre or death metal genre, and that we're completely unique, because we're not. You know, we're all in our 50s, pretty much in our 50s, and we just, you know, we're too long in the tooth for that. So our approach was, we're just going to play what we want to hear, because we've all got such an eclectic taste in music. But obviously the tunes, the bands that we agree on, like the stuff like Entombed, My Dying Bride, Paradise Lost, which is obvious, you know what I mean? We're all stuck in the 90s. You know what I mean? And we love that sort of loose punk rock feel, if you know what I mean. It's not so super polished. I listen to like modern music, and, you know, who am I to criticize, but that kind of super processed, that it all sounds the same to me. Do you know what I mean? The kick drums, do you know what I mean? It's all like triggered, and it's all like, brrr, you know what I mean? It's all like about speed, and, you know, and we like the sort of the more, how can I put it? The more organic, analog sort of feel to things. So the album, it's not a concept album, but there's a narrative that's running through it, and all the songs, it's one of those albums that, you know yourself, that you play some albums and it's just like track. We wanted for you to put on the album and then listen to the whole thing, and then at the end of it go, that kind of makes sense. Do you know what I mean? It's like a story, it flows nicely. So the approach was just to a bit more organic, a bit more nasty, and to sort of like, we want people, the three prerequisites of our music is, it has to be heavy, it has to be atmospheric, which we bring the synths and the drones and that underneath this stuff, and it's got to have a sense of menace running through it. That uneasy feel, you know, like you listen to some albums, like, I don't know, like the first one for me would probably be, I don't know, Clandestine by Entombed, back in the early 90s. You put that on and it's kind of like, it makes you feel a bit weird, well, it does for me anyway. And it's got that sort of like, and that's what we wanted to recreate. So we're not trying to be like, you know, oh, look at us, like, I'm the best drummer on the planet and Pete's the best guitarist. That's not our problem, not our thing. We don't really care. Doing what we do. So basically,
cool. So yeah, you were talking about how it's a bit of a narrative on the devil and his wicked ways. So tell us a bit about that. It's about the Christian monks coming in and trying to convert pagans, right?
That's right. We're all pagan. We're, you know, I'm heathen. I follow sort of like Northern, you know, European indigenous paganism. So we wanted to, basically, we're not Viking metal, right? I've got a bit of a bee in my butt. I own a Viking shop, but a heathen shop, but we're not Viking. We don't want to be Vikings. We don't run around dressed up as Vikings. That's not our thing. But we are passionate about paganism and indigenous sort of like European paths, whatever form that takes. So we wanted to sort of like get the narrative about, and it's basically about our ancestors standing tall against, like, you know, a foreign religion coming over to these isles and trying to convert or force convert people to another religion. So it was kind of like, our weapons, we can't take up arms, you know, we're not living in those ancient times anymore. So our weapons of choice are the drums, the guitar, our voices, etc., etc. So we want to say, look, you know, we're still here. We're still, like, you know, we follow the old ways. We're fiercely proud of what we do. And, you know, we're not going to take any shit. So basically, so the narrative is, through all the songs, if you read the lyrics on the album and that, you can see that it's like, yes, we're incredibly proud of our heritage and our ancestors, but we're saying, you know, they never left. The old gods never left. They're still here. You know what I mean? So it's like reawakening our pagan past, if you will. You know what I mean? So that's the whole sort of reasoning behind it.
Yeah, cool. And whereabouts are you in the UK?
Well, I am myself. I'm based in Glastonbury. You may have heard of Glastonbury, with the Glastonbury Festival. In fact, my patio door's there, and I could hear Guns N' Roses the other week. Oh my God, they were awful. Yeah, I'm in Glastonbury and the other two lads are in Basingstoke. So getting together is a bit of a nightmare. And since we're all a bunch of technophobes as well, you know what I mean? Like trying to get on this meeting this morning. We're just so stuck. We're old dogs and like trying to get together and that. So Peter come up with some riffs and he'll fling them over to me. Yeah, just record them on his phone or whatever, or Bandcamp, and send them over, and we'll have a bit of a chin wag, and then he'll go back and I'll make suggestions and we just bounce it back. So actually getting together all the time is a pain in the ass. We haven't actually had a proper rehearsal ever.
Oh, right. Yeah, okay.
But we've just taken on. Originally, we weren't going to do any gigs. It was just for fun. Then it turned into like, okay, it's just going to be a studio project. I mean, we thought, you know, it's just the two of us, because it was only two of us. It was just me and Pete who recorded the demo. Then we got his brother Mike, who we used to play with, in on bass. But we're all busy men. You know what I mean? And the agreement was from the outset, because we were coming out of retirement, if we get offered anything live wise, one of us is busy with whatever it is. Pete's got his kid and that. He's a family man. I've got my businesses and stuff like that. So we're very, very busy. If one of us can't do anything for whatever reason, we don't do it. It's as simple as that. Because a lot of people are probably going to hate me for this. We wanted to do this as a career back in the 90s. Fast forward now, we're incredibly busy. So, and we're all settled. So it's a case of, if we get offered something and we can all do it, we'll do it. And I'm not really bothered what it is. If we get offered a headline whacking or something, you know what I mean, and we can't do it, then we don't do it. It's as simple as that. So we've just taken on we've got some friends of ours, a live keyboard player and a live guitarist to join in the mix. They're learning the album and the demo at the moment, sounding really, really good. So at some point, sort of probably like later on this year, we'll all get together, have a rehearsal, get a set list up, ready for next year. And then we're going to do maybe sort of like a couple of dates here and there. But we'd rather have, you know, like, remember Bolt Thrower?
Yeah.
They kind of had like the idea of like, they're going to gig now and again, and they knew damn well that people were going to turn up and watch them, because they very rarely gigged. That's the kind of thing we want with Roots. So when you see that we're playing live and people come, you know people want to see us. We put on a good show and then off we go again. But never say never. We'll see what happens. But we don't expect us to be like sat on a tour bus for 6 weeks around Europe anytime soon.
Yeah, fair enough. And what's the go with Hammerheart? Because I know some labels sort of say, oh, you know, we expect this many shows, that kind of thing. Is there anything like that, or are they just happy to put it out?
They knew we were completely straight with them from the offset. You know, they knew exactly our mindset. You know, we're not young whippersnappers anymore. If they want a band that, you know, wants to tour the world and stuff like that, you know, more power to them. But Hammerheart haven't said anything. They are not bothered. They are good as gold. I mean, I dare say, if the album's a success, you know what I mean, you know, and early feedback is like coming back and, you know, people are enjoying it, which is cool. Then they might, you know, they might say, you know, do you fancy doing a couple of gigs and that? But it's all pie in the sky. But, you know, from the offset, they haven't put any restrictions on us whatsoever. They're absolutely brilliant. I can't rate them high enough, to be honest with you. And I've been signed before when I was in like black metal bands back in the 90s. And yeah, they're just, these guys are just hands down. They're so professional. They know their stuff. All of them, you know, either playing bands or have managed bands, and, you know, they've got some pretty heavy duty pedigree behind them. So, you know, and they got, you know, they're good. I can't rate them high enough.
Yeah. No, that's great. No, I agree. Like, you know, talking on to organise interviews and stuff's real simple. Like, they're great, you know. So songwriting wise, like you got, you know, the pagan themes and that kind of thing. Are you all sitting together going, oh, we sort of want to approach it this way, or is one person kind of taking the lead on the lyric writing side of things?
No, it's kind of like me and Pete write the lyrics. So we were kind of like, I mainly come up with the song titles. I'll have a bit of an epiphany, and I'll come up with something or a song title, and it'll fire my imagination of what lyrics should go with it. Now, Pete will sometimes say, "Look, I've got some ideas for this," or I'll write it. So he writes some lyrics, I write some lyrics. He may sing those lyrics, or I may sing those lyrics. So there's no hard and fast rules in it, but it's kind of a fluid relationship. There's no hard and fast rules to it. We're not like, okay, you're the songwriter, you're the, you write the riffs, you write the lyrics. There's none of that. We are collectively Roots of the Old Oak. Without one of us, there wouldn't be a Roots of the Old Oak. So we get all credit at the same time for the music, for the lyrics, for whatever. We are all equal within the band. It's as simple as that.
Cool. No, good one. So away from Roots of the Old Oak for a minute, what are you listening to lately? What are you checking out?
Me, do you know what? I'm so old school. I've been listening to a lot of Entomb lately. I love my Entomb. Like people say, like Left Hand Path I think is one of his favourite albums. Mine's Clandestine. What else I've been listening to? Some old school sort of like Old Star by Dark Throne.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah,
nice. It's got an old school sort of like heavy metal feel to it now. I love that. Yeah. But then again, I'll be listening to some real mad, crazy. Have you heard of a label called Cryo Chamber?
Yeah, it's familiar. But yeah, who's on that one?
Weird, ambient, strange soundscape, droney stuff. I've been listening to a bit of that lately. And I've been listening to. I listen to because I own a shop. In the shop, I have like sort of like I don't know if you've heard of Primordial Radio. It's like an online sort of metal radio station. I have that on quite a bit. So yeah, it's a bit of an eclectic thing at the moment. I don't really listen to new bands unless something really, really sort of catches my attention. But there's some really good, I'm down in the southwest. There's some really good bands down here. There's a decent sort of like black death band called Edenfall. Really, really good. Some cracking bands coming around. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Well, I guess, I was going to ask in regards to you guys playing, but are there shows going on around where you are? Like, are those bands playing and stuff like that?
Yeah, there always seems around where I am. Yeah, there always seems to be sort of like, there's like a nice little scene going around, but I've never really been, even any of us really, we've never really been into the scene. Do you know what I mean? We've always been on the sort of like peripherals. And because I'm older, I'm a bit of a miserable old git. I like my cocoa and my coffee and my slippers in bed by 10 sort of bloke. Yeah. But from what I see, there is still a healthy scene sort of going on. Obviously, because I'm down in the southwest. I mean, mainly Bristol is like the big major city near me. Very, very good. They got some really good venues up there. They got some really good bands coming in there as part of their tours and stuff like that. So. Yeah. I don't get to. I mean, I haven't been to a gig for like ages, but I should really get out and try and do some more. But I'm so miserable and old, honest.
So yeah, you talked about plans on maybe a handful of shows next year. Are you guys are you writing towards another album or anything like that yet, or are you kind of just waiting?
Well, funny you should say that. It was literally just a couple of days ago. Pete sort of said to me, he sent me a message saying, well, we should really start thinking about the next one. Where do you want to go with it? So we've kind of agreed that we're looking to, we've got an idea, but we're waiting to see what the reviews are like. So if someone comes back and says, oh yeah, we like this, but we didn't like that element, or we didn't like this, not that we're going to write for other people, but it just gives us an idea where our weaknesses are and where our strengths are. So as soon as we sort of like pinpoint our strengths and where we're going, we can just build on that. So probably like more of the same, just better. I mean, Pete's already got a handful of riffs. I've already got like 8 song titles. We've got a possible like album title as well for the second album. So again, it's quite fluid. It doesn't take us long to sort of like, but we'll have a lot more time to sort of plan and sort of dissect where we went wrong. But more of the same. We're not going to come out with a jazz album or something like
Yeah,
that.
of course. Yeah.
But more of the same, but just better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful. All right, look, Stu, thanks heaps for your time. The album's out September 15. Check it out, everyone. And thanks a lot, man. Have a good one.
See you later, Ben. Take care, man. Bye.
Bye.